Welcome to Berlin. I'm David. Don't shoot. I've got your shoe.
Hello, welcome to Cynic Critique, where we get real with cult films. I'm your host, Brian, and I'm here with my brother and co-host, my bro-host, Thomas.
Hello.
This week is Femme Fatales, Part 1, and we're looking at the films Salt, Haywire, and Atomic Blonde. Do you want to start us off with Salt, please?
The KA program is a myth. Scan says he's truthful.
This guy's selling smoke.
Wrap it up, Ev. Don't you want to know the name?
You're good.
You can tell the rest of your story to one of my colleagues.
The name of the agent is Evelyn Salt.
My name is Evelyn Salt.
Then you are a Russian spy.
2010 Salt, directed by Philip Noyce, written by Kurt Wimmer, starring Angelina Jolie as Evelyn Salt, Liev Schreiber as Ted Winter, and Chiwetel Ejiofor as Peabody. The synopsis off IMDb is a CIA agent goes on the run after a defector accuses her of being a Russian spy. What do you make of this one?
I really enjoyed this. I remember going to see it in the cinema, which must be 14 years ago. She said it was 2010.
Yeah.
And I've liked it since. Watched it at least a handful of times now, I would say.
Yeah.
It's just one of them films that you can just easily watch.
Yeah.
The plot's not too complex, but there's enough in the details to...
Yeah, the action keeps it moving nice.
Yeah, and the action's pretty decent in this. The cinematographer is Robert Elswit.
Yeah.
He worked on There Will Be Blood, Inherent Vice, Nightcrawler, but he does have experience in action.
Yeah.
I mean, since this, he's done Skyscraper, which was The Rock doing a Die Hard thing.
Yeah.
But he's gone on to do Rogue Nation since this, Born Legacy after this. But before this, he'd done Geely, which isn't well received, although I quite enjoy it.
It's not even that bad.
But he'd done 8mm and Tomorrow Never Dies.
That's a great one, that.
I think it's an underrated Bond film. It's got one of my favourite Bond villains, Elliot Carver.
One of my favourite Bond films.
Yeah. He also did a very short-lived TV adaptation of a comic book called Human Target back in 1992, which I'm still trying to watch. So yeah, he's got quite a range of genre in his background, and I think he's pretty decent. He's currently working on the Ripley series on Netflix. There's in The Talented Mr. Ripley with
I don't know his name.
Andrew Scott. That's his name.
Yeah. Not here to talk about them.
No.
Rip Salt.
Yeah.
And a few others.
But yeah, I think it's a great looking film. I think Angelina Jolie's a fantastic lead in this. I would have liked to have actually seen her do more action films.
Yeah, more action films. Got stuff like
I mean,
Gone in 60 Seconds under the belt.
yeah,
It's not
and
really-
Mr. and Mrs. Smith,
Yeah.
which is pretty full on for action, what I remember.
Obviously, the Tomb Raider film.
Yeah.
I think she needed something else as
But
well.
this was definitely a franchise they could have worked forward with. I mean, there was talks and still is talks of a sequel.
The last I think I saw articles from 2014.
Oh, right.
Last I saw, I didn't see any
Yeah.
information since then. But I mean, it surprised me if they randomly come out with one.
It's got a great support cast surrounding her as well, with Liev Schreiber as Ted Winter, as you said, and I forgot his name, Peabody.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yes, rather you than me.
Yeah. I'm still unsure if that's how it's said, but
Yeah. But we've got Corey Stoll in here. It's such a small part.
Corey Stoll was a great.
But the late, great Andre Braugher only has a small part in here as well.
Yeah. He always puts in a good performance. Doesn't
Yeah, but I mean, here it's barely a performance. It's almost like blink and you'll miss it from him.
he? Yeah. I remember seeing him in the cast. I thought, oh, great. And then he didn't really do much.
And I quite like who's basically the defector that you mentioned, Orlov, played
Yeah.
by Daniel Oblitsky.
Yeah.
And I never wrote what else he's in. But
I'm not sure.
there's a lot of flashbacks in this as well, so you get characters at various ages, so several actors playing them at
Yeah.
different stages in their life.
I think my favourite little supporting actor in this was Mike Colter as the CIA tactical leader.
Yeah.
I don't even remember seeing him, which is a bit of a shame.
No, I think he'll have had a helmet on or a hat on, or it was just the back of him.
Maybe. It would have been a small part because I'm tactical squad, so you didn't really get a good look at any of them.
People who don't know who he is, he was Luke Cage for the Marvel Netflix series. He was in one of the Halo miniseries or movie
Yeah,
things
yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like this. It's one of them, and I don't think it's spoiling it, saying that there's a alternate ending that would work as maybe a cold opening or a bigger part of a plot to a sequel for this.
Yeah, I'd really like to see a sequel to this as well. I don't really know why we haven't had one.
No.
This isn't really well received, I don't think, by many.
No, it's a good director, Philip Noyce, if I'm saying his name right. But
So
because
isn't it?
he did The Saint with Val Kilmer, which was really good. That's a
One of
film I
your-
liked.
Yeah, one of your favourites.
Yeah, another Angelina Jolie film, The Bone Collector,
Yeah,
with Denzel Washington, based on a series of books.
Yeah,
I think it currently had a TV series adaptation,
yeah.
or more recently had one anyway. And I love The Bone Collector. But I mean, even the writer of this has worked on some good stuff, because Thomas Crown Affair, the remake, is a
Yeah.
brilliant film.
He did that. He did Equilibrium, which is a great sci-fi action.
Yeah.
The Recruit, which is a good...
Colin Al Pacino.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great film.
yeah. So he has a few good films under his belt as well.
Which one of these was it? He said did Patriot Games?
That was the director, Philip Noyce.
Right, because
Yeah.
that's one of the...
Jack Ryan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Harrison Ford, and there's a big actor in there with him.
And there will be. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it.
Like I said, this is a film that I really like. It's pretty breezy, even though it's, 2 hours? Don't feel
Yeah,
2 hours,
yeah.
I don't think. There's some good action and set pieces. Angelina Jolie is absolutely fantastic.
It's an hour 40, sorry.
Oh, hour 40. It don't feel an hour 40.
Yeah. I think it's got a great story.
Yeah.
Action really helps it flow along. It don't plod anywhere.
The closest film I can think of to what this is like is one of the Bourne films.
Yeah.
Not a specific Bourne film, just one of the Bourne films.
One Legacy.
Similar to how one of the other films later we'll be discussing feels very akin to another franchise.
Right.
There are some details I found funny in this. I think it's one of the flashback scenes to one of the training parts, and somebody's got bleached blonde hair because they have to be Russian, but they
Oh.
bleached their eyebrows like
Yeah.
they did with Thor in the first Thor.
Yeah.
It just looks really funny.
It's not exactly a great look, is it?
No,
The bleed.
it's really obvious because the eyebrows are too similar to the hair. It's just so bleached. It's quite a funny detail.
Yeah. One of my favourite little details. I'm assuming it's all mine, but the blade in the shoe, like from Russian
Yes.
Love.
Yeah, I think I made 1 or 2 appearances in this.
I think one is in the alternate ending.
Right. But yeah, it's such a weird...
It's not a spoiler, is it?
I'm assuming
It's an alternate ending.
I think it was maybe a real gadget more than just a homage to From Russia With Love.
I just thought
But
it really proved they're Russian. The Bond film.
yeah.
Russia With Love.
yeah, wow, what's the name? Is it something Kleb? Rosa Kleb?
Rosa Klebb, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's quite fascinating this as well because it just feels like such a natural fit for Angelina Jolie. So for Tom Cruise to have been the original male lead for the film,
Yeah.
he would have been called...
Edwin A. Salt.
Yeah.
It's the A Salt that really gets me.
I know, just because she's a woman doesn't mean she doesn't have to have a middle initial, right?
Yeah. But for me, it was more, it seems like a serious film, and then you're going to throw in the A initial there, but A Salt.
Yeah.
I'd rather his first name had just began with A and they just call him a Salt.
Yeah, because somewhere in the trivia on IMDb it goes on about rewritten for a female lead once Angelina Jolie was attached to this. I wondered how much rewriting did it actually need because you're just changing him to her,
Yeah.
he to she,
Yeah.
whenever it's in reference to Salt.
Apparently, if it was a male lead with Tom Cruise, he would have had a child.
Yeah. Would that be instead as or as well as a wife? Because Angelina Jolie's character has a husband in it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It just said that
Yeah.
and a child, and I don't know how involved in the story that would have been.
Yeah.
Because she just go around by herself.
Would it be spoiling it if we say names are important in this?
Oh, names are definitely rather important.
Just fits with the theme, but I feel it would maybe spoil it if we elaborated on that.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But I will say it kind of, I think it adds to some of the odd kind of visual, well, I say visual, but directing style choices. I'm not sure. You've got like parts that reminded me of video game cutscenes, and also that didn't help due to James Newton Howard's score.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bit on top of a lorry.
Yeah.
Just felt like the opening of a
Video game level.
Yeah, that really made me laugh. And then there's a bit later on, it just felt like some kind of superhero film. Like,
Oh, you get that weird sort of like flowy cape sound effect.
Yeah.
It jumps towards somebody
Yeah.
and attack.
he just jumped through the doorway.
Yeah.
It's this sound effect of a swooshing sort of thing, like she's wearing
In
a
fact,
cap or something.
If it's possible to get that swooshy noise in, we'll put it here. Swoosh.
Yeah, you've really made me laugh. And then there's another bit as well that kind of reminded me of that sort of stuff. But it don't take you out of the film. It's
Yeah.
just trying to enhance the action, I think.
Yeah. I'd read this before we started the film, and I tried to look for it, but got too into the film and forgot to look for it. But apparently it's not set in the time it was released. It was released into the summer of 2010. And apparently on a newscast, one of the dates you can see is 2011.
Right.
So it's set a year in the future, or a few months depending.
Yeah.
Which, quite interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing is, the president's a big part of the plot. I could not tell you who plays him or what they're from.
He didn't even have an IMDb picture from right.
Right.
Ibn Hunt, something.
Right.
In Hunt. I can't remember. Like I say, he didn't have a picture on IMDb, and I thought it's not really a recognized name, so I didn't really bother getting him.
I'm also curious, because you brought it up when I said this, that it was on the 2007 blacklist of most liked unmade scripts of the year.
Yeah.
I think we should start a blacklist count. Just so as we go along, we can see how many films that we've covered that are from this blacklist.
Yeah.
So I might look into that, ready for next week's episode, to give people a count of how many films we've covered that are on the blacklist.
Yeah.
Because I think it's quite interesting.
Yeah. They missed out doing a film like this is 2010, that was 2007.
Yeah.
On the blacklist. So it's 3 years to finally get it made from there. I'm assuming it'll have been pitched to people before then.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if it would spoil it to say it now or not, or at the end of the episode. So I'm going to say it now. And if you think it spoils it, move it to the end, because you edit.
All right.
I think every damn one of these films we're covering this week is a better Black Widow movie than the Black Widow movie we got. In terms of the action, scope, and the fact that she's a damn spy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Black Widow movie was terrible.
I don't think it's as bad as people say it is.
In comparison to other Marvel movies, it's all right.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be like all the other Marvel movies.
No.
She's just a regular woman that's a spy. And then we get films like this and the other ones we're covering today. And it's like, this is a female-led spy movie.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the best things people like Winter Soldier for is that grounded element of the espionage stuff where he can't be Captain America anymore and she can't be actual Black Widow.
Yeah.
And she's helping him. Strip it back to basics, people. Hello. Sorry, rant over.
It's all right. It's welcome.
It's just really annoying when you see things like this that should have even had a sequel by now, 14 years later.
Yeah.
Don't know what Angelina Jolie's playing at. I want 9 Salt films.
Angelina Jolie, she was in Eternals for Marvel, so...
Yeah. That also wasn't as bad as people said it was.
No, still pretty bad, though.
Yeah.
We're not here to talk about Marvel.
No.
I'll lose my mind if we keep on.
Also, some interesting names thrown about for a possible director at this at one point was Michael Mann and Peter Berg.
Yeah, Peter Berg, I want to say, was...
Mile 22.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who else right now.
Yeah, I'd love to call them Mile 22.
But Michael Mann has done some decent stuff. He adapted Hannibal before anybody else did.
Yeah, he did Miami Vice movie.
The remake, yeah. Thanks for bringing that one up.
He's a great director.
But he did Heat.
Yeah, he does do some great stuff.
And he did work on the Miami Vice TV series, which is a fantastic show. I still think it holds up.
Even one of the reasons why they did actually do the movie, was it Jamie Foxx that pitched that?
I think so, yeah.
Said, hey, you should do Miami Vice, bring that back. And they did. And I wish they hadn't. Anyway, not
Peter Berg did Hancock.
Yes.
And Spencer Confidential. It looks like he did a lot of Mark Wahlberg movies. Yeah. Patriots Day, Deepwater Horizon, Lone Survivor. Is it The Kingdom, which was really good?
I enjoyed that.
Is that it for Salt? Or do you have more to say?
Great action spy film.
So we can say that for every episode today, then?
Yeah, every film today. Yeah.
What did I say?
Every episode.
Oh, okay. So Haywire, then, is next.
Yep.
From 2011.
You can tell me right now why you sold me out, or you can tell me when I have my hands around your throat.
Written by Len Dobbs, directed by Steven Soderbergh, stars Gina Carano as Mallory Kane, Michael Angarano as Scott, Channing Tatum as Aaron, Michael Douglas as Alex Koblenz, Antonio Banderas as Rodrigo, Ewan McGregor as Kenneth, Julian Alcaraz as Victor, Michael Fassbender as Paul, Bill Paxton as John Kane, and Anthony Brandon Wong as Zhang. The synopsis on IMDb is: a Black Ops super soldier seeks payback after she is betrayed and set up during a mission. So,
yeah, every film description today is all the same.
They don't all say super soldier.
No,
that's the thing. It's so misleading. She's not a super soldier. Because now, Captain America's a lot more saturated, I think, in people's like pop culture hubris kind of thing, that they know what he is, a super soldier. So when you say that she's a super soldier now, people are expecting somebody with heightened powers, strength and speed and
throwing car doors at you.
Yeah.
throwing a car at you.
She's just a woman who's very good at fighting.
I'm going to say she's not just a woman.
Also, how stacked is this cast?
It's a great cast.
And not one of them felt wasted.
No. It juggles these characters really well.
Yeah.
This one also has flashback scenes.
Yeah. The characters being well balanced could be from Soderbergh's experience of working with casts of large quantity with like Ocean's 11 to 13.
I'm going to say the Ocean's trilogy.
He does Crash, and that's got quite a stacked cast that spans many characters, narratives, and so on.
He's a great director.
He's fantastic, and he shows so much variation.
He does really well on that. I really love his action scenes on this. They're really well shot. You can see every move done in the fight.
You would think he's always directed action.
Yeah. I only had one problem with one fight.
And sadly, it's pretty much the final battle.
Yeah. It was,
we won't say who wins,
but it was so awful.
Because the area is in one location. It's quite a vast area.
Yeah.
You just need one camera to work and follow the action with them as they move left to right, backwards and forwards, but it kept cutting to different shots to try and get close-ups of the moves. And yes, you get to see them moves at a better angle sometimes, but it's so unnecessary and it breaks the fight, and it just felt like they were stopping to fight again kind of thing. And it's a shame.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody listening will know, but Gina Carano comes from an MMA background. She was a professional fighter.
Yeah.
And moved into film before, I can't remember her name now.
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. Yeah. Because people think she's the first, but she's not. Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's women before Gina Carano.
Yeah.
People will probably recognize Gina Carano as, oh my God, I can't remember her name now, from Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember her name?
Gina Carano.
Yes, but
Cara Dune.
That's it. Such an easy name.
Yeah, she's great in Mandalorian. It's shame she got writ out of that.
Yeah.
I just want to mention Len Dobbs wrote Dark City.
Yep, and he wrote The Limey.
Yeah.
Which was also Soderbergh directed.
Yeah. I want to mention Dark City.
Well, I wanted to mention The Limey because it stars Terrence Stamp.
All right.
And it's a good revenge flick. Good revenge flick.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, the action in this, it's good. The action, again, it's similar to Bourne.
Yeah.
But there's something about the action in this that's different to Bourne.
Yeah.
As with Salt, that felt a lot more like what you were getting in, especially Bourne Identity in terms of action, because it was less shaky cam than what you get in the later Bournes. But this is the similar sort of fights, isn't it, I guess, to what you get in the Bourne. Quite gritty, get them on the floor, pound them a bit, use what you can to beat them with.
Yeah, try and make it seem real.
But at the same time, it's framed a little more like what you would find in, I would say, martial art films.
Yeah.
But some odd angles, because sometimes the camera's down on the floor in this. So,
yeah, you got some good camera work, I think.
And a lot of fights happen in quite confined spaces. We've had it in narrow corridors.
Yeah.
It's only at the end, really, where it's a vast open field.
Yeah, and it really didn't work.
No.
I think they should have changed the location.
Sadly, it's maybe the worst part of the film.
It was my worst part of the film.
And it's a shame because it built up so well.
Yeah, and it seemed to go on forever, and it didn't work right at all.
In my notes, I wrote cold open. Haha. I was hoping you could help me expand on that.
It opens in the snow.
Right.
It's snowy.
But we're like halfway through the story, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because that's when she meets
halfway, flashbacks and stuff.
She meets Scott.
Yeah.
Around that point, and because he's not really after her, is he? He's more like somebody that gets dragged into it.
Yeah, he was just a civilian.
Yeah. Dennis Quaid was supposed to be her father in this as John Kane.
Yeah.
But sadly, he turned it down for a film I'd not heard of. Soul Surfer or Surfing Soul or something. I can't remember. I think it had Soul or Surf in the title. Anyway, we've got Bill Paxton in the part.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. And I read the name Anthony Brandon Wong in the cast. He's not a massive part of the film, but I just wanted to bring him up because he plays Ghost in Matrix.
Yeah.
Matrix films.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in the first one. I think it's mostly Reloaded.
Yeah, you brought him.
Revolution and
Enter the Matrix.
Yeah, Enter the Matrix, because he's one of the main characters in Enter the Matrix.
Yeah, he's one of the playable characters.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah.
And also we were on about director of photography, I guess, with how the action's filmed.
Yeah.
Well, that is Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah.
He's done the cinematography on many of his films under an alias as Peter Andrews.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a joke there. I couldn't find one. Not that I was trying to make a joke. I mean, I don't know if the Peter Andrews name is a joke.
Yeah.
Or a callback to something else, but I couldn't find it. Did you want to bring up the score?
By David Holmes.
Yeah.
He did the Ocean's trilogy.
Yeah.
But the score is great on that.
Yeah.
It's got a very 70s sound.
Just the score is very 70s.
But a lot of the direction feels rather 70s as well.
Once the action stops,
Yeah.
Once you're into the cat and mouse game again,
Yeah.
I guess, it feels a little like a 70s film.
Yeah. And then
And then the action starts, and you're almost like,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's really well done. It really works.
Yeah.
Except that other fight scene near the end.
Yeah. Which, the choreography of it seems great.
Yeah.
And they clearly thought about it, but sadly, I think cutting away to different angles to get a better view of the move
Just made it feel like it went on longer as well.
I guess, but maybe that felt longer to me. I don't know if it's the same for you, but I felt like I was actually thinking about the cast packing up while they wait for the lighting to change, rear positioning of the cameras and the mics, etc., and the blocking, and then they start again in the new angle, but also have to time it so all the continuity continues that previous part of the fight.
Yeah.
And that made it feel like a drag.
Yeah. It is the only bad part of that film, I think.
Yeah.
Other than that, I
But
think it's
still a great watch. And because of how the action is in this, I'd say this is a standout in Soderbergh's career.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an outlier when you look at his other films.
Yeah.
Other than the stacked cast, and you think, oh, Soderbergh is the only sort of person that'll pull all these sort of actors in.
I like him as a director. He's got many different styles. If you look him up, he's done quite a few.
I don't know if I'm spoiling the film too much, but another downside to having such a cast like this is they don't all get to exchange with each other, and you kind of want to see that because it's the cast, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see, well, I won't say who with whoever and so on.
Yeah.
I just think that would have been a little nicer.
Yeah, it'd have been better if they got to mingle a bit.
Yeah. Well, the story doesn't allow it, and it doesn't stop the story working at all in any way.
No.
It's just that sometimes when you get certain actors in a film together and they've never worked together before, you'd think, oh, that'd be nice to see together.
Yeah.
And it don't happen. Anything else you want to say on this, or shall we move to the next one?
I can read that here on.
Okie dokie. I don't know why I said it like that.
We're into 2017's Atomic Blonde.
The subject of this debriefing, British operational officer Lorraine Broughton.
Before we begin, sir, may I formally request that Mr. Kurtzfeld be removed?
I could stand behind the mirror with everybody else.
Asshole.
What did you say?
I didn't say anything.
I thought you said something.
What did she say?
Do you want to play the tape back?
Directed by David Leitch and written by Kurt Johnstad, based on the graphic novel by Anthony Johnston and Sam Hart. And it stars Charlize Theron as Lorraine Broughton, James McAvoy as David Percival, John Goodman as Emmett Kurtzfeld, Eddie Martin as Spyglass, Toby Jones as Eric Bray, and Sophia Bertella as Delphine LaSalle. Oh, and Bill Skarsgård as Merkel. Synopsis of IMDb is: an undercover MI6 agent is sent to Berlin during the Cold War to investigate the murder of a fellow agent and recover a missing list of double agents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not quite the same as the others.
No, this one's set in the 80s.
And now we have a list of double agents.
Yeah.
It's very similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
David Leitch was the co-director of the first John Wick.
Yeah.
He then did Deadpool 2, Bullet Train.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. Fall Guy is his latest.
Yeah.
And like I said, how Salt felt like a Bourne film, this feels like a John Wick film.
Yeah.
How the action's framed, paced, executed, it's just... But what do you expect? It's one of the guys that basically... Because he's a stuntman himself before he became director.
Yeah.
You mentioned it is based on a graphic novel. The graphic novel isn't called Atomic Blonde, but I think it has now been reprinted under the name of Atomic Blonde. The graphic novel's called Coldest Sea.
Yeah. I haven't read it.
I have, and that's where this is actually quite weird because it's a very accurate adaptation of the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Apart from the graphic novel has little to no violence in it.
Yeah.
As this is action scene, nearly every other scene. So you wouldn't expect it to work as an action film. And I think that's pretty clever how they've managed to do this and not affect the plot in any way.
Yeah.
Also, the graphic novel's just black and white, so it's probably not for everyone. But it's only a short read. It's a very small graphic novel. And like I said, they've pretty much adapted it, added some action in to make it more digestible for regular audiences.
Yeah.
Because the plot on its own, it's interesting, but I don't think it's interesting enough just on its own. There's too many things like it, so to inject that action into it allows it to feel itself a little differently.
Yeah.
Also, having the 80s pop hits that we had was pretty decent.
Yeah.
But to go back to the adaptation thing, I found it quite funny because I think it was not long after I'd read the graphic novel I wanted to watch the film again. Yeah, so I did. And then I was looking at people's reviews on IMDb and I found a review of a couple, I can't remember if it was the man or woman, but they'd been as a couple to see this film. and they were disappointed that it was an action film. And they're like, oh, it was just a dumb, boring action film, so brainless. And then I saw it was based on a comic book, and it's like, I should have known it was going to be a horrible action film, which I find really funny because, like I just previously said, there's no action in the comic book.
Yeah.
Barely any, if any. I like that little anecdote, and I was hoping to find the review on IMDb to share on Instagram, but I couldn't find it because there's so many reviews now. Also, the cinematographer is Jonathan, I don't know if it said the Sealer or Seller. He's worked with David Leitch on a few things. I think he was the cinematographer on the first John Wick, but then he'd gone on to do Deadpool 2, Fall Guy, and the other film that you said that I can't remember right now.
Are you not sure?
Yes. So he's clearly got a good eye for action.
Yeah.
And I think I can already state what your favourite thing about this movie is.
Yeah.
Tyler Bates on music.
Yeah, it's always good to hear Tyler Bates' music.
Yeah.
Like, got a good score. He did John Wick, and probably my personal favourite work from his is the Punisher series. Marvel.
Yeah.
That's a great one that he did, but he did great work on this. And he does usually tend to use existing songs as well in the soundtrack.
Yeah.
A lot of them. And he usually works with Zack Snyder and James Gunn. He usually works with them quite often.
He did.
Yeah. Then he just seems to work with Leitch, it seems like.
Why not?
Yeah. He usually puts out solid work.
Yeah. But like the other two films that we've just discussed as well, this has an amazing support cast.
Yeah.
Surrounding Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Like you said, we've got James McAvoy doing some of his best work, I think.
Yeah.
I really like him as this sort of smarmy, dirty spy sort of character. You know, he just plays that role so well.
Yeah.
And then we've got John Goodman, who's one of the, brief agents, isn't he? I can't think of what his role is now. But he's in the interrogation room, debriefing Broughton.
Yeah.
And he's pretty decent in that.
Yeah, it's him and Toby Jones in them scenes.
Another difference they made for the comic, actually, is the Delphine character, played by Sophia Boutella. That was a male character in the graphic novel.
Yeah.
So they gender swapped that. And it still works. It doesn't really change the overall narrative in any way. It's just a detail change. And Bill Skarsgård, I think, I remember him being in the film a little more than he was.
Yeah, I'd forgotten in it, so I guess he weren't in it much.
He didn't seem to have as big a part at all as I thought he had. So if you do want to see him in a bigger part and in a great action movie, Boy Kills World, that came out earlier this year, is a fantastic film to see.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there. It's maybe my favourite film of the year so far.
Yeah.
Or one of, It's up there.
That was definitely up there.
It's so far a top 3 contender.
Again, this has a very video game thing to it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The car chase bit, and I can't think what it was now, and that reminded me very much of a video game. I think it's how certain things just pull out in front of it.
I guess that's the timing of the stun and something.
It just really reminded me of that.
Feels like the narrated events that you get in video games.
Yeah. Oh, that's happening now, is it?
I guess that's to do with the execution of the action. And when you look at these other films, though, they're that video gamey sort of vibe.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of modern action films have looked at what video games do.
Yeah.
Especially John Wick. I think they've lent more into video games, even how John Wick himself takes more and more bumps as the films go on. And stuff. In fact, I think there's something there to be said about John Wick and video games, but that's for another time.
Yeah, great action film. These were all great action films.
Yeah.
So I think they're very underrated as well. Not many people bring them up.
No, they seem almost like they're forgotten about.
Yeah.
And then every so often, you'll get people there isn't many female-fronted action films, or there's no good female-fronted action films, and a lot of people just goes for the classic Terminator 2,
the
Alien franchise, with Ellen Ripley, and it's like, what about all these?
Yeah, and they'd still make them.
Because like you pointed out, Salt weren't even Angelina Jolie's first action film.
No.
I'm not even sure if it's her best, but it's one of her films I particularly enjoy.
Yeah.
And when you've got one done by one of the people that's done John Wick, which is what people would maybe say is one of the best action franchises possibly ever or in a long time, then you're going to have a great female-fronted action film.
Yeah.
And Charlize Theron put a lot of work into this. She trained with 8 different personal trainers and so on.
If I'm right in saying that was trying to get this made.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
It sounded like she took 4 years.
Yeah.
Quite surprised.
Yeah, and she cracked 2 teeth while filming this.
Yeah.
But she was training with Keanu Reeves while he was preparing for John Wick 2.
Yeah. I'm a bit miffed they haven't done an action film together.
Yeah, I think we were saying it. Yeah. I wouldn't even be bothered if it weren't. I'd just like a John Wick style team of women or something. And it's like Angelina Jolie, Charlize Theron, Halle Berry, because she was great in John Wick 3.
Yeah.
John Wick 3. Yeah.
Eddie Marsan's always good to see in it.
Oh, he's one of the best working actors today, and I feel he goes so unrecognised, or he's just one of them people like, I know him.
Because character actor.
Stephen Graham seems to have found his point now, where a lot of Brits anyway are like, I love Stephen Graham. He's in this, and this. And it's like, what about Eddie Marsan? They're like, who? And it's like, never mind, I guess. Because he's great in Ray Donovan with Liev Schreiber. Liev Schreiber's the lead character and the titular character of Ray Donovan. But it's 5 years Theron spent trying to get this made.
Yeah.
Developing the project, it says, yeah.
I'm quite surprised.
So,
I'm glad it got made.
yeah.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
I love action films.
All of them?
I love a good action film. I don't love all of them,
Right. Any last notes on it?
other than watch some great action films.
Yeah. But these are actually really good female-led action films.
Yeah.
I mean, just take away the female aspect. They're great action films.
I said action films.
Yeah, I know. But the idea was, like, I
Yeah.
don't think we've mentioned, we wanted to do this episode because I realised that a lot of our images we put together for our episodes are lacking women.
Yeah.
And it's with no real intent that's happened. It's just how the films we've wanted to cover have worked out. And I was like, well, there doesn't seem to be any women in these images. And you were like, it's hard to sometimes even get images of the women in the films we've talked about. So, and I was like, would it be cool if we did this?
No, I like action films.
Yeah.
That's how I was in.
I mean, we're definitely doing a part 2.
Yeah.
And we're trying to work out what we can put together in a part 3.
Yeah.
But we can do part 3 further down the line.
Maybe.
Well, we were on about earlier how we can just
Yeah.
visit these things.
Yeah.
Do you want to wrap this up, or is there more you want to say?
We can wrap up.
Okay.
So that's the end of the show. Thank you for joining us this week. And if you haven't already, click like and subscribe. A glowing review would also be appreciated. We are cynic_critique on X and Instagram. Links to those and more can be found in the show's description. And remember to join us again next week as we unearth more gems from cinema's depths. The Femme Fatales Part 2, as we discuss 1990's Nikita, 2017's The Villainess, and 2018's Red Sparrow. Thank you.
Goodbye.
I have to go away for a while.